Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome back to the second part of Real Talk, the program that comes into your home on a day-to-day basis every week, week in, week out, as I say, hopefully bringing issues of interest, of concern, of some substance to you on a week-to-week basis. Today we've been talking about a really unique campaign that started off in Bradford. I thought it started off over a year ago, but as we've learnt earlier, started this year in April, and it was all about trying to get the community to come together to be part of something wider than just themselves. It's not just a me, culture that we have to be part of. We have to be part of a wider network of humanity, looking after our brothers and sisters, regardless of their faith, their ethnicity, etc. But also one of the most important components in our lives, and that is the environment. And that campaign is Better for Bradford, better, 4 in figures for Bradford. And the person who drives this campaign and started it was not with us in the part 1 of our program, but I'm really glad to say that she has now joined us. And I have not seen this young lady for many, many years. I met her probably about 18, 19 years ago. The last time I saw her was about 16 years ago. And believe you me, I've just seen her today for the first time since then. And she has not changed one iota from that moment. Inaya Share, welcome to IQRA TV, welcome to Real Talk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Really glad to have you here. You, I've been told, are the driving force behind this campaign. You were the one who started off, kicked it off, and today you, Hafiz Saab tells me, you have over 2,000 people who are part of this campaign on your Facebook, on your WhatsApp, etc. How did you start? What drove you to do this?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say walaikum assalam and thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share our story.
More than welcome.
With you.
I mean, people should be inspired by what you're doing.
Well, mashallah, it's teamwork. Without my brother, without my brothers, without the rest of the team, it wouldn't have been possible. The reason why it started was purely because of I felt disheartened. I felt disheartened with what I was seeing in Bradford. When I used to walk outside on the streets, I just saw litter.
Right.
Littered streets. When I was driving, I came across dangerous driving, reckless driving. When I was trying to sleep at night, I was disturbed by fireworks, and most of what was happening was due to my community, our community, the Pakistani community. And I felt responsible. I thought I need to do something about it. I'm accountable as a Muslim. I'm accountable also for the people's actions. And I know there's so many wonderful people amongst our community, and sometimes they realize that what they are doing, it's bad behaviour. So what I decided to do was I started a WhatsApp group, and I started off with 17 people. I invited them to this WhatsApp group, and I asked them, do you feel the same as I do? Do you feel disheartened with what's happening amongst our community, the litter, the drug dealing, the dangerous driving? And within about 3 weeks, it snowballed, the WhatsApp group, it snowballed, and we had up to 102 people joining. They were saying, they were joining, and they were saying, wow, it's amazing, it's at last someone's actually doing something about it. I couldn't manage the WhatsApp group because it was growing every day, so I decided to set up a Facebook page. As soon as I set up the Facebook page, within a couple of weeks again, 300 people joined. From all people from different faiths, people from different backgrounds. The first instance was mainly non-Muslims that were joining, and they were saying they felt happy that someone was actually acknowledging that we have a problem amongst our community, and they were just sharing their sharing what they felt about what was happening in Bradford, and how we can progress and how we can move on to doing something.
I mean, initially when you started, obviously. Were you confident that this campaign would take off the way it did, or were you sort of anxious about how you would be viewed, what people think of you?
Yes.
I mean, what some people are like, ye kaun aa gayi?
Well, yes, I did. I mean, it started off as just as a street clean. My father, give him Jannat.
Ameen,
He
ameen.
died last year. I was feeling quite, because of my father's loss, I was feeling a bit depressed as well. My father was, he was a very house-proud person. He was a community person. He devoted 17 years of his life serving the mosque.
Subhanallah.
Even if he was ill, he would go. He would clean the toilets, he would clean the masjid, he would give whatever he had to the community. He used to always say to us, as his children, he used to say that don't build for this life, always also plan for the next life. And we used to think that, oh, Dad's just preaching to us, and we say, oh, inshallah, inshallah, but we will do, of course. But my father, he was a very independent person, he was a very humble person. Whatever he had, he used to give. He used to say there's no point keeping it.
Yes.
You don't gain anything from in this life. So when he passed away, he actually died in my arms.
Wow.
When he became ill, he was so, mashallah, he was so modest that when we were children, when we were growing up, we never saw our father's arm above his elbow. And when he became ill, he became completely dependent on us. So we had to do everything for him, and I used to pray that if anything happened to him, that Allah,
so he was your inspiration.
Yeah, Allah give us the opportunity to look after him, mashallah. So when my father died, he died in my arms. I was the first person to be with him on that day. Most of our brothers and sisters were there, and but alhamdulillah, I was in the room. And I noticed that his colour had changed, and I called my sister and I says, look, I says, something's wrong with our father. Within a couple of, about a minute, he passed away. And within that 1 minute, all of his children gathered. So when he passed away, I realised what the message that he was trying to pass on to me, that, look, plan for the next world, the hereafter. So I decided to do something in his name, and I thought what I could do, the best thing I could do was do some sort of cleaning in my community, because that's what he loved doing. So I started a street clean. I thought I'll start off.
So you started off from what?
From
within
my
your
own,
own street?
within my own,
And it's now grown to the whole of Bradford.
It's grown to the whole of
Bradford. So does it cover the whole of Bradford?
The whole of Bradford, mashallah. I never expected everyone to join in.
So all the areas, BD 7, 8, 9, whatever it is. I don't know Bradford that well. So you look shaky, you had saying yes, it does.
Yes.
And you were saying earlier, you have masjids connected to it. And how many masjids have you got linked up to this campaign now?
The ones that took part in the last campaign, we had about 7, 8. But now, alhamdulillah, again, Sister Inaya doesn't tell you the whole thing. She works tirelessly. Something like 80 hours a week, non-stop. It's a full-time job for her.
Definitely.
For some of us, it's only a part-time job, what we can spare, but she's made it a full-on, full-time job. And she's, mashallah, contacted nearly all of the schools where she can. She's contacted all of the masajid. So I believe now we have about 20 madrasas that are going to join into the next thing. That's now. We've still got another 2 weeks. So, and we've got about 20 schools
and how do you find the mosque, the madrasa committees? Are they listening to you? Are they open, welcoming you with open arms, or do they sometimes they shut the doors and saying this is not our issue?
Well, mashallah, Hafiz Aziz, he's got a lot of contacts, so it's very easy for him to make that approach.
Now, you told us Maulana Fazal Dad, who's one of our colleagues, is also signed up to this campaign. He's one of your sort of promoters, ambassadors for the campaign as well.
Definitely.
And I'm sure that must help as well.
Mashallah.
He's got a lot of respect in Bradford.
Well, he's my patron as well. So the khidmat that I do, Masjid Ibrahim, mashallah, it's under his guidance, mashallah. And I think a lot of ulama respect him on that level as well. And obviously we always seek his guidance whenever we're doing the cleanup. He was involved in the last 2 of our cleanups as well. And I'm sure
so do you get ulama coming out with you as well? Do you? Because they are the sort of the leaders of the community.
In the first cleanup, mashallah, Maulana Dad himself came out and he was part of it. The second, unfortunately, had other commitments, he couldn't join in. But other ulama as well, from other areas. So, the madrasas where the ustads are teaching, the teachers, do they come out? Because then they can inspire the children. That's what it is, mashallah. Most of them lead by example. I mean, our Prophet ﷺ always led by example. And it's the same thing, our appeal now is to all masjid, madrasas, if they're listening or they're aware of this channel as well, is to appeal to them to please join in this effort, Bradford for Better. It's on the 9th, 10th and 11th of November, so straight away after the bonfire night. The week after, there'll be a lot of debris on the streets and on the thing. The council will be overwhelmed as they know, as they usually are, and this is an opportunity for us to help them as well. Take some of the load of the council.
I mean, the Muslim community obviously is a big part of Bradford. You know, we have a very large population of Bradford.
Yes, we do.
How important do you think it is, the role of the Muslim community, to do this work and show the rest of the world that we take equal responsibility for our environment?
It's extremely important because Bradford, I mean, it's always been portrayed with this negative image, especially after the riots. Every time you mention Bradford to someone, they always associate it with the riots, some sort of negative story, and we're hoping with this campaign we can erase some of that negativity from Bradford. Mashallah, I mean, people are realizing that there is wonderful people in Bradford.
Well, obviously, yes, they are. Yeah, people like you and others.
Yeah,
2,000 of them.
Yeah, mashallah, we've got, like Brother Aziz was saying, we've had so many people coming out on the day, doctors, solicitors.
Wow.
It's such a you have to experience the cleanup that we do. You get such a buzz out of it. You don't want to stop. It's supposed to be a 2-hour slot, but we actually start at 10 o'clock and we go on till about 4 to 5 o'clock.
Wow.
We go to different areas. We don't want to stop. Even the children are so energized by it, and people are stopping and waving at us and horning at us, and then they actually join us because they see so many people on the streets cleaning. It's just it's an amazing feeling, mashallah.
Obviously, this is, as I said to my viewers in the first part, I'm inspired by people like Inayat and Hafiz Sahab and Brother Faisal, who's not left us now. I mean, this is true Islam in its real form. This is, showcasing Islam the way it should be, in my opinion. And, other parts of the country may want to learn from you and see how, the impact that you're having. So if somebody from other parts of the UK, for example, wants to learn about what you did, how you did, the impact it's having, how can they contact you?
Well, we've got a Facebook page, Bradford for
So
Better.
if you're an old Neanderthal like me who's not on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever it is nowadays, the only thing I can barely use is WhatsApp. Is there another means of contacting you?
Well, mashallah, we've been so fortunate because people are actually coming to us and offering us services and donations. So we've had someone coming, a marketing company, and said that, can we design you a website? And they've designed us a website. We have a website. We've had another company coming, Buddy Print. They says that we will design you and print out dustbin stickers for every household in Bradford. So that will remind them to take responsibility to take care of their environment by picking up litter. We've had another business who donated us litter picks, Unique Homes. They offered us 100 litter picks, 100 visibility jackets. We've decided that we don't want any funding, so we're an unpaid and unfunded group.
Except you work 80 hours a week.
Yeah, well, I wasn't supposed to work 80 hours a week. It started off like, for example, it started off as 5 or 6 hours a week because I was working. I have a business, and I didn't expect so many people to join. And because there's so many people joining, I mean, every day on Facebook.
How does your family feel that you devote so much? I didn't realize until just when we came onto air that you married to somebody I have a great deal of respect for, who I know really well, but I've not met for a long time, and that is Ali Jan. Ali Jan is a man that I've looked upon as a mentor for many, many years now. So give him my salams when you see him, when you go back home. But how does he and your daughters or your children and your grandchildren, because you take time away from them in order to do this?
Well, mashallah, my grandchildren are very inspired by what we are doing. They're always participating in our cleanups, and they go on our Facebook page and they see the amount of people that are joining, and they're inspired, and I hope, you know, we can leave a legacy behind.
So, yeah, inshallah,
This is a
inshallah.
legacy for our children, for our
Inshallah.
grandchildren. You know, life is not just about earning, it's also leaving something behind for other
Yes.
people to remember you by.
Yes.
So hopefully,
And obviously, this is quite close to your heart,
yes,
something you're very passionate about. And obviously, people like
Yeah.
Habib who are leaders in their own right as well, in their own madrasas, in the maktabs, etc. You know, people like him obviously play a very important role.
Very much.
You know, because you can do whatever you can do, but they're dealing with children on a day-to-day basis. They're teaching them the Quran, the kitabs, etc. Hamza, when you talk to your kids in the madrasa, how open are they to listen to what you're saying, the message you're giving?
Alhamdulillah. I think, you know, it's very easy to relate to children. I find, you know, after the years that we've been teaching, you know, the youth, they're beautiful. It's the direction you point them towards, how receptive they are. They're very, very receptive. And if you tell them, you know, the good things and how to, you know, do the good things, they you know, act upon them. So alhamdulillah, they play a big role, and that's again, like I said, leads me to appeal to the ulama, hazrat and the madrasas, that please try to get all of the children involved in this next campaign. See if they can, you know, learn and teach them about the cleanliness.
And how do you find the adults? Because the adults are the culprits, aren't they? People like me, my generation are the worst.
Well, Faisal was talking about the last project that we were on, and even in there we were discussing the fact that maybe this generation of youth, the 20-year-olds, we've sort of failed them. Our generation has failed them because we didn't teach them about the cleanliness. So all this rubbish that we see on the floors or the litter, the ones that are thrown out of the windows, these are our children. Maybe we can start with the new generation and instill a different character in them about cleanliness. And
I mean, I must say, last Ramadan I was walking down a street and I saw this Muslim lady sweeping her sort of yard, and I thought, you know, in the middle of, it was a hot day, she was sweeping up all the rubbish, and I thought, subhanallah, may Allah give her the best reward. But the worst thing that happened was, after she collected all the rubbish in a pile, she then swept it onto the pavement, out of her house, out of the boundary of her house. And I thought, oh my God, she's lost all the reward now that she could have gained by taking rubbish out of her property and putting it onto the pavement and making it somebody else's responsibility. You know, I mean, I would love to talk for longer, because there's issues around, as you say, bonfire night, there's issues around speeding, there's issues around antisocial behavior, and that's something we spoke with Maulana Fazal Dad on here as well, about antisocial behavior and what we need to do in our Muslim community, because, you know, we have some issues, there's no doubt about it. We can't hide it under the carpet, you know, sweep it under the carpet anymore. And it's something that we really need to talk about, be honest and open about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, very, very briefly, where do you see this campaign going next?
Well, hopefully, I hope that Bradford for Better becomes non-existent.
Right.
I hope that people have enough love within their heart that they will clean beyond their pavement, beyond their patch, where they will take pride in where they're living and see Bradford as their home.
Right. And these, I mean, Maulana, hopefully that the children that are now coming through your madrasa, I mean, you hope that they will learn and listen from what you're saying and the actions that they're doing, that they will stop doing what we used to do, that is throw cigarette butts out of the window of the car as we were driving by. Now, so I would love you to come back, inshallah, one day, come and talk about some of the other work that is going on. We're running, I mean, people think 1 hour is going to be too long, but 1 hour is never too long. It's something that, you know, is really inspirational. And I think anybody who's been watching this program, and everyone who has watched this program, you know, whether we watch it today or we watch it later on, this is one of the most inspiring programs that I've done in many, many months of the programs that I've been doing here. And I hope you've been inspired by it too. And I would urge you to talk to your children about the impact of litter on the environment. But not only that, the impression it leaves on non-Muslims, the way we behave sometimes. So I hope you've enjoyed this program. I'm deeply grateful to Inaya for you coming in, deeply grateful to Aziz for coming in, and I hope that you've not only been inspired, but you'll go out there and do your duty, your responsibility as Muslims and as human beings as well. Inshallah, thank you for watching. Inshallah, I'll see you next week when we have a reverend coming to join me from the University of Bradford to talk about community cohesion. Thank you for watching. May Allah be with you. May Allah protect you. Make dua for everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.